Over 2 years ago, I finally beat and reviewed one of the most acclaimed Shin Megami Tensei spin-off game, the original Digital Devil Saga. The strange thing is, I loved pretty much everything about Digital Devil Saga, from its story to its character and fantastic gameplay. For some reason, it still took me all this time to finally give its sequel a chance. It's long overdue, but today, it's finally time to review Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga 2 for the PlayStation 2. Please note that this review will feature major spoilers for the original Digital Devil Saga and also minor spoilers for the sequel. Now, in Digital Devil Saga 1, the Embryon finally meets with Sarah near the end of the game and she runs to the Karma Temple. Once Surf and friends arrive at the Karma Temple, they meet Angel, Sarah's biological mother, but in human form. That's when they learn about her plans to release a virus that would completely destroy the world of Digital Devil Saga, the Junkyard. And that is, if Angel cannot leave to the real world with Sarah. Good news though, the Embryon was able to defeat Angel at the end of the game, but sadly that came with its fair share of consequences, as we see in the sequel, the virus released and the destruction of the Junkyard. Everyone at the Karma Temple during the battle was able to escape to the real world, which means the Embryon, Sarah, and Angel are all back for our sequel here, which I am finally reviewing today. Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga 2 for the PS2 is an absolute masterpiece of a sequel. At the beginning of Digital Devil Saga 1, you see the tribes of the Junkyard get transformed into demons because of a virus infection. After that event, the characters of DDS gained new powers in demon form and slowly but surely started to feel emotions, which wasn't the case before since they all are part of a big virtual program. Right at the start of the sequel, I started to feel for those characters again so much, and a big part of that was because they now appreciate the presence of each other and clearly they're now able to experience a lot of emotions. In Digital Devil Saga 2, the story picks up where its prequel left off, obviously, as Embryon enters the real world in pursuit of Sarah and Angel. That world is threatened every day because of the existence of a black sun. Everyone but demons are affected when under the black sun. Quickly after arriving, you learn that Sarah is being held captive by the ends of Angel and her accomplice at Karma Society HQ. In other words, it's the Embryon's responsibility to save her, and you instantly set off for Karma Society HQ. As you progress through the story, you learn more and more about the existence of the Junkyard and also the truth behind Nirvana. The more you progress, the more you get answers for your questions that were left unanswered at the end of the first game, and it feels so rewarding. If you have beaten DDS 1, you already know this, but Digital Devil Saga is certainly one of the best SMT spin-off in terms of story. The game is very story heavy, with more cutscenes than most SMT games. Reviews from the launch of DDS praised it for how much it clashed with the simpler story of other games and its predecessor, SMT3 Nocturne. This focus on story makes this duology of games really stand out versus other games in the series, in my opinion. Both DDS 1 and 2 have very intense moments that made me feel something for the characters, and it's something that I'll cherish for a very long time, something that not a lot of games are able to do for me. DDS 2 really benefits from what DDS 1 built though, because you are already hooked right from the start, wanting to learn more about what happened to the world of the first game and the main cast of characters that we grew to love through the first game. Right at the start of the game, you are greeted with a reunion scene, the gang's back together, the voice acting is still here, and that mixed with a great beautiful cutscene of the characters finding out what happened at the end of DDS 1 was a pure treat. This attachment to Surf, Gale, Argila, Sarah, CLO, and Heat made every joke, every discussion, and just every moment feel super powerful. I found the pacing of DDS 2 to be very enjoyable, which constantly made me want to go back to the game and play some more. That's why I beat it so quickly. The characters are still as interesting as ever, and man is the dialogue well written in that game. The creators clearly know and love their characters, and it really shows. The game does not feel too story heavy because the story scenes are well placed between dungeons. DDS2 also adds new characters and new playable characters as well, with Sarah and Roland, which are interesting in their own way and adds to the overall strategy in combat. Speaking of combat, in Digital Devil Saga 2, you have the exact same combat system as in DDS1. The press turn combat system is back, and of course the ability to transform or revert from demon form to human form is still here and as fun as ever. There is one gameplay feature in combat that I forgot existed after all this time, and it's the combo attacks. As you learn new skills with your characters, you will also learn combo moves when two characters are placed on the field at the same time. For example, if my Surf has an Ice build and my Gale has an Earth build, I get to unlock combo moves like Matarasi for Earth or Mabufula that I can use with both Surf and Gale. And when doing a combo move, it uses 2 or 3 press turn icons depending on how many characters are involved with the combo attack. I'm sure this sounds simple, but I could tell you of multiple occasions where those combo moves were part of my strategy during a tough boss battle. I will always mention the ability to swap characters in and out of battle as well when it's present in an RPG that I'm playing, because it just adds so much to the strategy and makes combat just feel way more enjoyable for me, and that is something that is present in both DDS 1 and 2. I cannot talk about the combat system of Digital Devil Saga without mentioning what comes with it: the mantra system, aka the progression system of DDS 2. In my review of the first game, I praised the mantra system for being one of my favorite progression systems of all Megaton. Well, in DDS2, the madmans at ATLUS somehow were able to make it even better, with a way to combine the progression of multiple characters together to unlock special skills on the mantra grid. As you level up your characters, you increase the equipped mantra's level, and once the mantra reached its peak level, its peak performance, you unlock new skills. And then you can buy another mantra to level up and get even more skills. With this progression system, everything's possible. Every skill can be unlocked by every character. It makes for literally endless combination options. Make sure you have your character ready for support with progression against certain ailments for this boss, and then maybe you'll have to make him a big healer for the next battle, or totally change him into a magic beast for another boss. It's just a fun and very pleasant all-around time when it comes to the progression in DDS2. Everything feels rewarding, and that's really awesome. The mantra system mixed with the press turn combat system makes both DDS 1 and 2 absolute classics in the Shin Megami Tensei universe, in my opinion. I do have a little bit of less positive stuff to bring to the table about the game. The dungeon in Digital Devil Saga 2, they don't feel as mixed and unique as the first game. Some locations you will go back to or even 3 times for multiple hours at a time. They do try to make those dungeons feel different though by changing minor visual elements or changing the enemy variety a little bit, but regardless, it's never fun to have to spend 3 hours in a dungeon that you already completely traversed twice already. That being said, the combat system being insanely fun and it just made it more bearable, but it's certainly an issue that was not a thing for me in the first game, but that I sadly quickly noticed in 2. Oh, and I know some of y'all are gonna ask, yes, the encounter rate from the first game is still here in 2. It is a very rough encounter rate. You have battles constantly, and that is something that irritates a lot of people, so I felt the need to mention it. That being said, Digital Devil Saga 2 does something that I liked a lot that is new for the game. On a few occasions during your playthrough, the game changes the main playable character from Surf to other characters that I prefer not spoiling here. This made for some very interesting moments as some characters just left my party and I had no idea if they would come back or not. It made me rethink my strategy and which characters I should build differently now that someone left. It just totally caught me off guard with my playthrough and I loved it. And that's in a gameplay perspective, but in a story sense as well. Like, this character left. Is this character coming back? I want to play more. I want to know what's going to happen. Digital Devil Saga is often criticized for lacking a staple element of mainline SMT, the ability to recruit and fuse demons. As I mentioned in my review of the original DDS, the multiple party members, the endless customization options, and the ability to transform into a demon or not in battle more than makes up for it in my personal opinion. Plus, the demon variety in DDS2 really is great. It features demons from a few mythologies like Greek, Buddhism, Hindu, and just a lot more. Some that are not explored that much in gaming, which again makes this duology of game feel special. The graphics and visual age decently. I played the game through emulation with a higher resolution and it just feels and looks like a modern title. Again, ATLUS, come on, port these games in HD, damn it. Digital Devil Saga 2 very much looks like the first game, though it's a direct sequel after all. An element from the first game that I heavily praised is the soundtrack, composed by none other than legendary ATLUS composer Shoji Meguro. The game will switch from an engaging funky theme to a dark and creepy one in a matter of minutes, and it's just very impressive. Just like in the first game, Meguro created music that fits every single occasion. There is one section specifically early in the game where you have to flee a jail, and the jailer is a huge kumbanda. And this huge motherfucker was chasing me around with trashful music, and that was insanely immersive, and I love it. And again, this is a PS2 game, so it's crazy that I'm able to say that today. It just speaks to how good this game is. The music is just peak to listen around outside of playing the game, so expect it in the back of my upcoming videos for sure. I feel like this review was me gushing over how good this duology of Shin Megami Tensei spin-off is. It's sad to see that now ATLUS is kinda only focusing on Persona when it comes to spin-offs, and seemingly has forgotten about spin-offs or mainline SMT. With how successful Shin Megami Tensei 5 was, I really hope they either give us a new spin-off series for mainline SMT, or maybe they should try and do more with some of their other spin-off series like Digital Devil Saga. Digital Devil Saga 1 and 2 on HD platforms would be really awesome, or even go back to Devil Survivor 1 and 2 from portable systems and make that feel more modern. That would be really awesome. Thank you all so much for listening to my review of Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga for the PlayStation 2. Please give me a comment and let me know which game in the Megaton universe you would like me to review next. There is still a lot of games that I have not played. Devil Survivor 2, Shin Megami Tensei 2, and others. So drop a comment and let me know. That way I can pick and choose which game I should talk about next. If you want more RPG content or ATLUS content, you are at the right place. Make sure you subscribe, ring that notification bell as well, and a quick thumbs up is a huge help to help people find my channel. You have a great day, y'all. Bye.